This is Newslife.
More key development projects are set for implementation in the coming year. Over 800 billion pesos of the 2016 national budget will be set aside for the infrastructure program. This report.
For the past 5 years, the Aquino government spending for infrastructure development has been a top priority to enhance the country's competitiveness in the global economy. First on the agenda of Public Works Secretary Rogelio Babesingson was to clean the image of the department as one of the most corrupt agencies of government. Reforms in policies and people address the problem, which resulted in 50 billion pesos of savings. In the Global Competitiveness Report of the World Economic Forum, the Philippines' infrastructure network ranks lower compared to the booming economies of ASEAN, to include Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia.
I was hoping that could have been much earlier, but of course, the first 2 years we were doing a lot of cleaning up. So our biggest worry was the leakage, and then there was also an issue of absorptive capacity. And if you will look into the budget, when we started 2010 and 2011, the budget of DPWH was at about 90 billion. In 2016, this has gone up to 400 billion, which is almost half of the total 5% of GDP for infrastructure.
In the 2016 General Appropriations Act of 3.002 trillion pesos, the budget will hit 5% of the country's gross domestic product, or a little over 800 billion pesos, to cover the implementation of key projects all over the country, from national highways to roads, bridges, public buildings to include health centers and school buildings, and flood control projects. DPWH Secretary Rogelio Babesingson bared there's so much money to spend to complete the projects. A major concern is the lack of capacity due to the lack of contractors to handle the projects. Babesingson cited the lack of qualified contractors, especially in Mindanao, to handle big-ticket items.
Total, we're looking at close to 800 billion pesos for infrastructure. This includes social services and all education, infrastructure, hospital infrastructure, and so on. You can imagine, for example, Cagayan de Oro or Region 10 receiving a bigger budget than NCR, which is a fact. So, do we have enough contractors to handle 22 billion worth of DPWH projects just in Region 10 alone? Or put it in a bigger context, we're looking at, out of the 400 billion DPWH project, 33% is Mindanao. Okay, that's 120 plus billion in Mindanao alone. It's not easy convincing big contractors to do projects in Mindanao. There are places where there are still some peace and order situations. So, and add to that, there are also a lot of private projects ongoing in Mindanao. So the big ones, the AAA contractors, can choose whether they want to go for government projects or they want to go for private projects. Luzon, you have a lot more contractors, but once you start moving to, let's say, island provinces, for example, Palawan, where we're heavily investing, how many contractors are in Palawan? Right? Island provinces like Catanduanes, Masbate, Romblon, big contractors would rather work in the mainland than in island provinces.
Babesingson stressed the future administration should spend more for infrastructure, at least 8 to 10% annually. One key project is addressing the traffic problem in Metro Manila. Babesingson said a number of key projects with the support of the private sector under the PPP program will hopefully reduce traffic congestion in 3 to 5 years. John Forbes of the American Chamber of Commerce said the long-term solution is to build a massive railway system in Metro Manila.
Look at the numbers. Right? PPP project, 300 billion. What is my annual budget in 1 year? 400 billion. So, yung PPP namin is a support. So, we have to look at what are the projects that can generate interest from the private sector. So, lahat ng mga high standard highway that we can toll, yun ang ipinasok namin sa PPP. But understandably, there are other agencies. The OTC, for example, has a lot more than DPWH. Rails, airports, dun lang, ang dami nun.
I think the country needs a long-term plan, and it needs to arrancada twice as fast to implement it. Take, for example, public transportation in the national capital region. The reason for traffic jams is in part the progress that the Aquino administration says is occurring, the progress of Filipinos who work hard and buy cars in order to move because they can't really move on public transportation. The progress of the government in providing public transportation has not kept up with the progress of individual Filipinos.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.